It's the hottest psychiatric drug in history.
Prozac.
Prozac, a wonder drug that works wonders.
At the end of 1987, the U.S. Food and Drug Administration approved a new antidepressant, and Prozac hit the American market. Advertising and word of mouth helped boost the drug's reputation, and Prozac became the it drug of the 1990s.
Models in the latest fashions are said to look Prozac deprived.
Before long, the name was on everyone's tongue.
I was on Prozac for a long time.
And, it seemed, everyone was using it.
6 million Americans using Prozac right now.
The greater the drug's popularity, the more it seemed to symbolize.
Prozac moves from being a successfully launched pharmaceutical product to being a true cultural celebrity.
You know it's the holiday season in New York City when the drug dealers are selling more Prozac than flash.
Hi. So imagine living in one of the happiest countries in the world but still struggling with depression. Sounds like a paradox, right? Well, it's a reality in many capitalist societies today. In this video, we're diving deep into how capitalism doesn't just fuel depression, it profits from it. From the relentless drive for productivity to the over-reliance on antidepressants like SSRIs, we're going to explore how Big Pharma thrives while workers are left to deal with the mental health fallout. Capitalism is built on one core principle: productivity. It doesn't care about your mental health. Whether you're working overtime, juggling multiple jobs, or pushing through burnout, the system rewards output, not well-being. According to the World Health Organization, 1 in 8 people worldwide experienced a mental health problem in 2021, and that's no coincidence. In a world where work is viewed as a moral duty, there is little room for self-care or rest. A 2024 study found that Scandinavian countries, despite being some of the happiest on earth, have shockingly high antidepressant use. Why? Because even welfare states can't escape capitalism's demand for nonstop productivity. In capitalist societies, workers have limited time off, with many receiving just 10 paid vacation days per year. Compare that to Europe, where workers can get up to 25 days off. This lack of time to recover or seek therapy is why people are forced to turn to quick fixes like medication, SSRIs to be specific. Now let's talk about Scandinavia. Iceland, Sweden, and Denmark have consistently topped global happiness rankings, yet they also have some of the highest antidepressant usage rates in the world. A 2024 study documented a 65% increase in antidepressant prescriptions in these countries between 2006 and 2021. How is this possible? Well, even in nations with generous welfare systems, the pressure to perform and be productive hasn't been addressed. Many people have access to healthcare, but they're still expected to keep up with the intense work demands. Even in these countries with strong social safety nets, economic growth and wealth accumulation are prioritized, not necessarily the well-being of individuals. In Scandinavian countries, despite having strong social safety nets, workers still face the brutal demand of capitalist system that prioritizes efficiency and productivity. The work ethic in these nations is deeply tied to the broader capitalist framework where performance and output are valued over personal well-being. Even with universal healthcare systems, mental health care is often geared toward quick fixes rather than addressing the systemic causes of stress and burnout. Under the capitalist model, workers are expected to constantly perform, and the pressure to meet high expectations often leads to burnout and exhaustion. The toll this takes on mental health is undeniable, of course. Chronic stress, anxiety, and depression become the norm for many. However, therapy which could help address the root causes of this burnout, such as long working hours, lack of personal time, and workplace demands, is often seen as an inaccessible luxury or unrealistic in such high pressure environments. The reality is that many people don't have the time or resources to take time off of work to attend therapy sessions or long term treatments that could genuinely address the factors contributing to their mental health struggles. In this context, therapy becomes sidelined in favor of a quick chemical solution, antidepressants like SSRIs. These medications are seen as a way to mask the symptoms of depression by addressing a presumed chemical imbalance in the brain without tackling the external stressors, the workplace culture, the expectations of constant productivity, and the lack of adequate rest that are truly driving people to burnout. In effect, antidepressants become a band aid solution to a deeper structural issue. The capitalist system doesn't encourage addressing the root causes of mental health problems, because doing so would require a massive shift in how we view labor, productivity, and human well being. Changing the system to prioritize work life balance, mental health care, and realistic work hours would challenge the very foundation of capitalism, which thrives on maximizing labor and minimizing costs. Therapy requires time, resources, and emotional investment, which is not conducive to a society that is driven by the need for constant output. In contrast, a quick fix like medication can help workers continue to function in a capitalist economy without requiring deep changes to the way the society already operates. In this way, the overprescription of antidepressants is not just a medical issue, it's a social and economic issue. By labeling depression as merely a chemical imbalance and prescribing SSRIs, the system avoids confronting the fact that people are depressed because of the systemic pressures, the demand of long working hours, lack of paid leave, and the culture of always doing more. It allows workers to keep going without ever addressing the underlying cause. A capitalist system that places profits over people, where individual well being is subordinated to the need for productivity. So while Scandinavian countries may have safety nets, their work culture still reflects the capitalist values of constant performance and wealth accumulation. Workers are trapped in a cycle. They're overworked, stressed, and burned out. But instead of addressing the sources of their problems, the solution offered by both the medical and the economic systems is medication. This is a classic example of how capitalism turns a systemic issue, which is burning out due to overworking, into an individual medical problem to be treated by a pill, thereby ensuring the cycle of productivity and exhaustion, continuing without ever addressing the root cause. This by no means is just a Scandinavian issue. This is an issue that is occurring worldwide. The UK, for example, has 1 in 4 adults diagnosed with a mental illness, and 4 million people take antidepressants every year. These statistics reflect a society where mental health is often neglected in favor of an economic productivity. According to DSM-5, depression is more than just feeling sad. It's a persistent, debilitating condition marked by symptoms like loss of interest, fatigue, and difficulty concentrating. But here's the catch. While depression is a mental health issue, capitalism often treats it like an individual problem. You feel bad? Here's a pill. Don't get to the root of it, just keep producing. SSRIs, selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors, are the go-to antidepressants in these high-pressure environments. They increase serotonin levels in the brain, which stabilize mood. But here's the problem. SSRIs don't fix the reason behind your depression. They only mask the symptoms. And because therapy, time off, or systemic changes are often out of reach, SSRIs become the easy solution. Big Pharma is making billions off antidepressants. In 2023, the global pharmaceutical industry generated over $1.6 trillion in revenue. Why? Because depression has become a lucrative business. In capitalist societies, mental illness is not something to be solved, it's something to be managed. And what better way to do that than with a steady supply of medication? SSRIs like Prozac or Zoloft are prescribed in place of real solutions. These medicines keep workers functional, but they don't address why they're depressed in the first place. This creates a cycle where workers rely on medication to cope with high stress jobs, while the root causes like economic inequality, job insecurity, and overwork remain unchallenged. So, all in all, capitalism's obsession with efficiency and profit continues to exacerbate depression, while pharmaceutical companies profit off the medications used to manage the symptoms. This system keeps workers in a perpetual cycle of medicating but never healing. The reality is that depression is not an individual failure. Rather, it's a product of a system that values output over well being.